Okay, hello everyone. We're just starting our live session. So this is myself, James Farah. A quick just run through of today's event. We've got a big day tomorrow with Supreme Court. But over to James. You want to start off, James?
Yeah, thanks, Yassine. I think it's just a very sad day, and I think that was we just wanted to really talk about that more than anything else. We heard the news of the tragic murder of Gabriel Bringy today. Gabriel was working for Bolt the other evening when he was attacked and killed on the job. It's very sad to hear. It's devastating. My heart goes out, and so does everybody at ADCU to the family of Gabriel at this really sad time. They've launched a GoFundMe campaign, which I think we can share the link to. Gabriel's sister Renate has launched that GoFundMe campaign. So if you can at all show some solidarity with that campaign, I think that would be most gratefully appreciated. His family need to repatriate Gabriel back to Romania as soon as possible. But it's a really sad time, and it's a reminder of how difficult and dangerous this job can be. Like I say, it's not a time really for whataboutery or maybe it's better for another time to reflect on this incident. But I'll say a few things. I'll say that we've run surveys that showed that 50% of private hire drivers have been assaulted or attacked at one time or another in their job as a private hire driver. I know it's happened to Yassine. I know it's happened to me. And I know that this is probably something that hasn't happened to me, or happened to me less, is that 85% have suffered hate crime, racist abuse, Islamophobic abuse on the job. Now, the thing is that we've raised these matters with Transport for London and other licensing authorities consistently over a long period of time. And the attitude of Transport for London is that they're not there to protect us, they're there to protect the travelling public. So they won't accept reports and they won't collect data on it. I think it's unacceptable, because if you think Transport for London takes a weekly upload of driver and vehicle data from every operator that's licensed in London, I don't see why they can't also have the operator upload weekly assaults, violence against drivers, and monitor that and do something about it. The Metropolitan Police, I jump in, Yassine, but Metropolitan Police are no better. Time and time again, we've got involved in member cases, been assaulted. They've made a report to the police and nothing is done. Either the police don't come out, don't take a witness statement, or come out and do it too late, and then the evidence is gone, or whether it's CCTV or whatnot. And in some cases, I know of one case in particular, the Metropolitan Police had the nerve to say to the driver, "Well, this is going to be, if you pursue this complaint, that's going to cost the police and the state a lot of money in terms of an investigation and a criminal prosecution. Are you sure you want to do that?" Well, how dare they say that? How dare they say that to a driver that, well, it's too expensive to uphold the law for you. And time again, we've had this experience with the Metropolitan Police just simply not acting on this matter. And if you go to New York City, they give taxi and private hire drivers there stickers from Transport for London to educate the consumer that, you can go to jail for 10 years if you assault a driver. We've been down, Yassine and I have been down in Bristol. We saw the same thing with the police in that part of the west of England. But here in London, no, it's open season on drivers, and simply got to stop it. I would say I won't say too much more about it because I don't think it's.
No, no, it's
Go ahead, yes.
you brought this up because I remember like every time, like when we went to Leeds City Council, when we went to sorry, when we were talking to Birmingham City Council, even TfL, like one of the things you asked is what is the data of drivers that got assault, and the question is we don't know, nor do we care, nor do we want that data, but
Because we
so
might have to do something if we got
yeah.
that data, right?
But
Yeah.
at the same time, when you ask them what's the data on drivers, bad drivers, they have every single bit. And my point is, look, if you want to operators reporting bad drivers or any little complaint, why not assaults? Yeah.
Mm.
And once we start collecting this data, that's how we could find the problem and how we could address with it. And at the same time, one of the biggest problem with Met Police is they're failing to work with us. Yeah.
Mm.
But sorry, I just want. So it's sad what happened, and it takes me back to years when I first started driving back in 2006, when a guy from High Wycombe that I know got murdered. Yeah, so it's not something unique that these things do happen, and every day we get a driver that gets assaulted, races, like it's verbal abuse, there's all kind of stuff. So this is part of our campaign as a union to protect and fight for the drivers, make sure that they are safe and protected. Now, like it's unfortunate. So as a union, even though we're a small union, we do get membership coming in. We focus on protecting our drivers. But as a union today, we decided to donate £500 to support the family. So the GoFund link is posted in this chat. So if any drivers that are watching this, please donate. It's important because he was one of us. He was a driver, and we're a community. And it's important that we show solidarity. So if you could chuck in a fiver, sow in a fiver, a tenner, or whatever you're comfortable. But the main thing is, this is not something that we will let go easily. This is a campaign that we have to fight because, it's gonna keep happening. And it's the same thing like when I saw the screenshot of the app, like the driver was dead and the trip was still running, you know. And like all this stuff needs to be addressed, and it's a shame to see that Bolt still have not come out, you know. Um,
But Bolt should help that family, Yassine, don't you think? Don't do it.
that was
Where's Marcus Villig tonight? Why doesn't he step up and take care of that grieving family?
that is my point. Bolt could easily give the family like £10,000 or whatever it was, like support the
Dominic
family.
Moxon Trich.
Yeah.
Right? Those guys are, they're never stop PRing about Bolt. Where are they tonight?
Yeah. And I think the main thing is like, and this is where, and we're in Supreme Court tomorrow. Like we didn't start a fight. This was a cause that we were attached to because of the people we're involved with. So it's not about me, it's not about James, it's about the whole community. And this is our community, and these are our people. So we're doing what we can in the long run. So it's not about, I'm not thinking about myself. I know it's James. So all these campaigns that we're doing, it's all about how we could get justice and better protection for drivers. And I think that's most like there's loads of unions out there, groups and organizations. And the unique thing about us is we actually sincerely care about the community, and we want to do what we can. And we've done it so many times where we stood by drivers, where other unions seem to, when a driver's in trouble, they will walk away from you. Where it's the opposite with us guys, if you need help, we'll be there. But when it comes to licensing cases like and stuff like that, they're a bit different. But when it comes to bigger issues such as today, we're there in solidarity with you.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, but I'll just repeat that again. Marcus Villig at Bolt, Dominic Moxon Trich, Mike Galvin, these Bolt executives, please, you need to step up tonight and take care of your worker, Gabriel Bringa, and his family and his grieving sister and the young children that are in that family. The Bolt need to step up now, not by hiding, and take some responsibility, help this family tonight. I mean, I totally agree what you're saying, Yassine. It's gone on too long, and we've seen these tragedies too often, and I fear we're going to see it again if something isn't done. Because I think a message needs to be sent. You see, the thing that really offends me about this, is that we've lost people this year. We've lost at least 2 members that have died from COVID, and that's unimaginable loss, and it is really terrible. And we worked hard. We took action against Transport for London, Department for Transport, by initiating legal proceedings. We didn't, in the end, need to go to the High Court, but we started that because we felt that it was unconscionable that Transport for London and DFT had allowed this pandemic to come up. So many people were dying. They were standing back, not doing anything. They were not allowing us to put screens in vehicles. They were not insisting on PPE, which is, since been established that it was a requirement to provide that PPE. So much of what should have been done early in COVID wasn't done, and people died. And that's really bad, and that's offensive, and it's unconscionable. But to be murdered at work, to lose your life in the course of your work, driving a minicab, I mean, that's at a level of taboo, depravity, whatever you want to call it, that should never happen. You should never go out on a shift to drive for a private hire vehicle and come home dead. That should never happen. And we can't tolerate that. We can't normalize that. We can't, we just can't. Like we won't let this go. And we need to hold, it's, I'm saying hold Bolt to account. There's one person that's responsible for that, and that's the person who murdered this person. There's no doubt about it. I'm not trying, I'm not saying that anything different to that. But I am saying is that we're in a licensed trade that's supposed to be supervised by Transport for London. They do nothing on driver safety and security. The Metropolitan Police have a cab enforcement unit of 65 police officers funded by us through the license fee, because the cab enforcement unit is funded by Transport for London, and they sit with Transport for London. Now, they're all over us, on stops and checks and enforcement and whatnot. They stop us at twice the rate of taxi drivers. But when something like this happens, they're nowhere to be found. And so we do need to hold Transport for London and the Metropolitan Police to account, that they need to do something, anything. Let's do something now to try and prevent this type of thing from ever happening again for a driver ever being assaulted. And we don't intend to let that go. And Yassine's right about the culture of this union. Firstly, I'm going to completely disagree with my good colleague Yassine about us being a small union. Yes, we are a small union. I agree with that. But we're only small relative to the size of the population of people working in this industry. Did you know that the private hire and taxi industry is the largest transportation sector in the United Kingdom? There's almost 300,000 people working in that sector. That's a huge employment area, and that we participate in. There's about 200,000 of us are private hire drivers. That's huge. So in that scale, of terms of organizing that number of drivers, we're quite small, but we're still the largest representative body for private hire drivers by a country mile at this stage, and growing fast every day, which I'm really proud to see. But it's tinged with a little sadness, because if things weren't so bad, then people maybe wouldn't be organizing as much as they need to do with us at the moment. But we won't leave. We will not leave. We will not leave a man behind. We'll not leave somebody on the field. And yes, it happened to me. I was accused by the police of assault, as you know, last year. They put me on trial because I used a megaphone. They stood in front of me, and I was found ultimately not guilty. But it was essentially the police trying to frame up our union in cahoots with Transport for London, because we've been protesting the congestion charge. But yes, the organisation I was with at the time did leave me behind and Yassine behind in support of that defence. But in the end, it came good, and we've got a great organisation now. Sorry, I'm rambling on, but look, all this to say that we're deeply offended, we're deeply saddened, we're deeply grieving for this driver and his family tonight. And I would really encourage you to please, if you can spare anything at all, show your solidarity and donate something to that GoFundMe account.
Yeah. I just want to echo what James said. So, you got to understand, as a driver, your job is your driver. So you leave your home, you get into your car, you know, and all you want to do is pick people up, drop them off, earn your money, come back home. You know, we shouldn't be thinking about, we're going to get assaulted, we're going to get attacked. And one of the problem, a lot of complaints we get is when something goes wrong. Let's say a customer threatens you or a passenger threatens you and you call the police, they never turn up. They never turn up. Especially back in the days when we used to have the cash fares. If the customer refused to pay you, like they have never been support for us by these organization. But I'm glad James corrected me on the fact that even we are the largest union. Yeah. And just to summarize, like we have been working around Glasgow. Alfie done some great job there, and Colin pushing the government there.
We saved the license in Glasgow this week, didn't we?
Oh yes, and just yesterday, we had a case at the licensing committee in Glasgow. We paid for a solicitor to represent our members, and we were able to overturn that appeal. Also, we're running a campaign at the moment, working with the guys in Solihull, in Wolverhampton, Birmingham, also in Leicester. So we have got stuff going. We're doing what we can, but the biggest thing for us is tomorrow. So we'll talk about that later on. But today, this video was more about solidarity and just to support the family, and also just to let everyone know that we're there and we're going to revisit this, and we do want to hold the people accountable, such as Bolt and the regulator, when such thing happens. So we're not going to let it just just we're going to come back on this, which is very important. So I would encourage everyone to join the union, be part of the team, be part of this community. We are the real people, and we have been fighting since day one. And like James just mentioned, he nearly got locked up. He nearly got locked up. Yeah.
Some people would like me to be locked up.
He got, and the people that meant to be backing us didn't back us, and it was the driver community that come together. It was
the drivers that saved me in the end. Yeah.
Together, the drivers together, united. Yeah. We are a strong force. Yeah. And we do have the numbers, and we're doing everything. And one of the things that I'm so proud of at ADCU, like we've been organizing since like 6 years. We've been through different forms, network, organization. The thing with ADCU, we got it right. Like we're paying experts like solicitors to do your licensing case. We're setting up a good infrastructure to represent you. So you come in, you got an issue, bang, it's done. And the membership is cheap. £60 a year is nothing. And
£40 if you're a courier.
Yeah, £40 if you're a courier. And at the same time, like we are, hopefully after Friday, tomorrow, we're going to be doing a lot of work with our couriers members. So we're seeing a big membership. And I think one of the things about us guys, I'm so proud that the fact that we grow so big in 6 months time, and I never seen this gross ever before since I've been organizing. And one of the thing, like the past union we were, and I think it's just a matter, like end of this year, we'll probably be bigger than the whole union combined that we had last year. And that gives us the resources to put in place to help drivers. So once we got our in-house lifters and people, we could serve you guys. And that's what it really comes down to, is making sure that someone is there to back you and someone that's going to help you when you need it.
That's well said, Yassine. I mean, there's two things I would just wanted to come back on. One is, that what happened with Gabriel is the end result of a lack of respect, a lack of protection for private hire drivers. It's the end of the chain. It's the extreme end of that. And it is incumbent upon all of us to organize and insist on respect, dignity, security, safety for people working. And another example of where we were tackling that is yesterday at Heathrow Airport. You may have seen the news, it's on the Facebook page. But we've tackled, we had been doing it for months, to be honest with you, but we just went public with it yesterday. A deplorable state of conditions at the AVA at Heathrow Airport. There was no hot water there, no soap, filthy toilets, a prayer area in a bus stop, a withdrawal of catering, and broken toilets are not being serviced. This is just unacceptable conditions given the amount of money that drivers are putting into Heathrow Airport, and given how important they are for the operation of Heathrow Airport and providing surface transportation. And given the fact that half a mile down the road at the taxi feeder park, they have a purpose-built block. They have a full lounge area indoors in this cafeteria. They have a big screen television. They have hot and cold food. They have union offices, conferencing facilities all the way down there. This is, it's not acceptable that we have this kind of industrial apartheid in the private hire versus taxi trade in London. And it will never change unless we change it. It will never change unless we change it. And that's why it's important to join the union, join this effort. And we say, it's not acceptable from Heathrow Airport. I'm not going to put up with it. And we're not going to put up with it. And we're not done with Heathrow Airport. They were very quick to get down there and fix the hot water because we pointed out to them it was a breach of HSE regulations. But we're far from done with Heathrow Airport. Now that we've gone public with it, we tried to work with them in private. We're not going to stop until they deliver some serious improvements in there. And I would ask you to join us to say also that you're not going to accept the conditions at Heathrow Airport and join us and do something about it. The final thing I wanted to say about this whole lack of respect thing is that there's a connection here to worker rights. Because if they don't respect you enough to give you hot water and a toilet where you're working, they certainly don't respect you enough to pay you properly either. And that's, this is the spectrum that we're in. It's a complete lack of respect. Yeah, here you go. Alexandra put it up. The ONS showed that, the ONS statistics about stabbings, but also the ONS statistics showed that private hire drivers was the number 1, number 2 occupation fatality rates for COVID. Again, all of these things, there's a certain lack of respect for drivers that we put up with these conditions while all of these people around us make a ton of money off us. Heathrow Airport make a ton of money off us, providing essential service, Uber, Transport for London. They've all got their hands in their pockets, but they're all kicking us as well. We just have to say no to that now. And there is that connection between assaults, not being paid properly, not being treated properly at Heathrow. That's what a union is for, us to tackle these problems. But we can only do this when we do this together. Final thing I want to say is that we're on the eve of the Supreme Court ruling tomorrow, and we'll find out one way or another if they respect us or not. I hope they do, but I don't know. But I'll tell you where that started. And it's very sad to talk about the death of Gabriel Bringmead this evening, because I know it started with an assault on me in March 2015. I was assaulted on the job, and I reported it to the Metropolitan Police, and they said, that's fine, we'll follow up with Uber. And Uber would not cooperate with the Metropolitan Police for 10 weeks. I had no interest in activism or being involved in a union until that happened to me. And I was just bloody minded about it because I thought, no. Uber don't want to get involved. They don't want to have any duty of care to me. They don't want to have any public liability with the passenger. And they just want me to take a beating and be okay with it. And I just said, no, I can't do that. I will not do that. And I called a lawyer and I called Yassine, and Yassine guided me on this a little bit at the time because he was organizing at that time another organization, and that's where this got started. It was Yassine that reached out to me because I had been talking about it on Twitter, and that's where this case started. It started with 2 people taking a stand against an assault. I'm glad I'm here today to tell the tale, because I'll tell you what, if I had been stabbed like this poor man the other night, Uber would have behaved just the same way. And I hope that's not the way Bolt is behaving today. I hope Bolt has picked up the phone to that family and they're supporting them and they're doing something and they're providing some financial support, assistance to that family, because God knows they owe to them. So I'll stop. But I would call on Marcus Villig, the CEO of Bolt. I would call on Dominic Moxon-Trich, who's head of public relations and public policy at Bolt, and to Mike Galvin, who works in compliance and so on at Bolt. So please step in now, make sure that Bolt do the right thing for this family this evening. Sorry, Yasin, if I've gone on too long.
That is a good point. I think you brought it. I mean, Heathrow. I think it's really important because drivers are paying for it, and I wouldn't mind if the black taxis had similar facilities as the private hire drivers, but they're making more money from the private hire drivers.
Yeah.
And there's a contract. The point is, it's not about whether it's Muslim. The way I see it is, if anyone wants to, like, whether you're Buddhist, whether you're Christian or whatever, if you want to practice your religion, you should be allowed to. Why are they given a bus shelter to be trained in a bus shelter? On top, they never had hot water. So we've been pushing them for the last 6 months, more or less, backwards and forwards, backwards and forward. So we're now escalating things, and it's good. And they have sort of started to do some, but we're not going to let it go lightly. And I think, like what Jane mentioned, the assault bit, this all comes hand in hand with the worker status. We have no protection. Yeah. And it's the same with this guy from Bolt. Bolt is going to hide in the background, so it's nothing to do with us. Whatever happened, we're so sorry. But my point is, look, someone somewhere needs to be responsible for this. Yeah, they can't just hide in the background. And we definitely, and I see it every time when people talk about these fixed prices. I mean, back in 2014, when Uber first reduced their fares, and we saw the fares going down, down, down. When Uber launched Uber Pool, we done a protest outside TfL office. Like all that stuff. Every time Uber does something, you get drivers, they get hyped up and they're saying, what are you doing? And this is why we started this worker status, the case, because it puts a flaw in the market. So tomorrow, regardless of what happens, we're going to see more and more Uber campaign aggressively coming out. Yeah. But end of the day, we do need these rights. Like we're getting drivers assaulted, we got our pays going down and down. So we need to win basically tomorrow. That is the only way we're going to put an end to this. Yeah. But anyway, I said what I had to say. Just want to say thank you for all the guys supporting us. I know a lot of guys, especially like Wasim, Asad, Azim, all these guys that are watching today. And you were one of those guys sitting in that meeting room with us in Hackney back in 2015, 2016, when we were talking about these workers' right case. And you probably recall James talking about his, like his assault. So, like the point is, we come a long way. And I'm grateful we were only able to come this far because of the support we had from the drivers community and the people that stood, with us and along us. So, inshallah, we're going to win tomorrow. But just want to say that you guys are part of our success. So it's not just me and James, yeah, or it's all of us together, yeah. So good or bad, yeah, we could only hope for the best, but we're not going to go away. We're there for the long term, and we're there to see it through. So if you haven't joined, join us, please. The link again is www.adcu.org.uk/join. And we look forward to welcoming you on board. Thank you, everyone. Is there anything else you want to add, James? Or
No, it said perfect. There's nothing I could add to that except to say it's 9:45 tomorrow. Maybe we should put a link in for the Supreme Court where people can see the live feed. Yasin, maybe tomorrow morning 9:45.
Tomorrow at 9:30, we'll go live. But before we end it, James, if you don't mind, I got a 3 minutes clip from one of our meetings back in 2015. You playing it. Are you all right with that?
Yeah. God, I can't imagine what it's going to be. I'm embarrassed. It's probably what? How many years ago?
It's about 5 years ago. Yeah.
Well, we probably look 10 years younger.
I'll play it, and everyone. I think it's just good. Just 3 minutes video. I'm just going to play that quickly for everyone. Yeah.
I turned it over to Uber. Took Uber 10 weeks
to cooperate with the police request for the rider info. 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
10 weeks. 10 weeks.
Not bad.
Oh. Now the scary thing is, if I got a screwdriver in the side of the neck, and I was on life support, and my family were, I don't know, maybe they'd be crying, I don't know. It would still have been 10 weeks.
That's too much.
And I wondered why that was. I worked for Uber. Why does it take 10 weeks to go to the police? And I looked at my contract, and I looked at the rider contract, and I had this aha moment. Of course, I carry all the risk, so does the rider. Something goes wrong, read your contract as a rider or as a driver, nothing to do with them. And that's why they didn't go to the police, because they didn't want to know. They didn't want to get involved. They didn't want this in the press. They wanted nothing to do with it. That's why. So I called Lee Day, and I had a conversation with Annie Powell about it.
You already registered. You don't have to.
And what she said to me was, yeah, there is no responsibility. There are lawyers. And we started to understand that we needed rights. We needed worker rights. And that's where the case started from. And Yassine reached out to me. Yassine was organising drivers. And he pulled me in. And Yassine joined the case, and then 19 others joined the case. Now, what does this worker rights do? First of all, you will continue to be self-employed. You're self-employed. That doesn't change. It doesn't. Uber will say you'll lose your flexibility, you'll have to log on, you'll have to do this, you'll have to work shifts. Rubbish! You won't. From the start, Uber have been offering incentives. They're offering me an incentive right now to work in Guildford. So they're able to guarantee, when we went up to Leeds, they guaranteed fares per hour up in Leeds. So they're able to do it when they want to, but they're not able to put a floor in the market and guarantee us minimum wage. Well, we have a right to it. The court found that. Minimum wage for every hour that you're logged on. Because you're a worker. Now, why does this worker status exist? Well, imagine for a second, you worked for 25 years for, I don't know, Thames Water, right, behind the desk. 25 years you're working for Thames Water. When I come in as your boss and I say, Conrad, good news and bad news. Let's start with the bad news. I'm laying you off. Sorry, man. You're gone. Good news, stay right there, keep doing your job, do everything you're doing now, except now you're self-employed, right? So no holidays or whatever that, just on a contract, just carry on, right? It's an abuse, can't you see? That would be an abuse, right? So that's why there is this third status called worker. It lies somewhere between being employed and being truly self-employed. And it exists to give you protection, because you need protection where you're self-employed but you can't set the fare, you're still being performance managed, right? All of the things that shackle us down.
We don't know where we're going.
We don't know where you're going, don't know who the customers. Say I own my customers, you own my customers, I don't even know their names, for God's sake. Right? I'm not really running my business in the truest sense. And that's why. Uber takes the money, Uber makes the deductions that they want to make. That's why you have this protection, because it's about control. They control the game. Because they control the game, we're entitled to be legally defined as workers. And what does that give us? It gives us the minimum wage. Who here aspires to earn the living wage? Well, not me. But I'll tell you what, right now I'll take it, because I'm not making the living wage.
Right, James, did that bring back memories?
It did. I'm slightly embarrassed now, but yeah, those were the good old days, weren't they? We've lots changed, but a lot still remains the same, sadly.
But anyway, thank you everyone. So I'm just gonna end this. And it's just great to see that clip again. Just brought back all that memories. I just want to say it once more again. It's the drivers and the people that stood with us. Yeah. So regardless of what happened tomorrow, we're still there together, and we're gonna win this, hopefully. Yeah. So win or lose, we're still the winner because we fought all the way. And we're still standing.
We'll still be fighting. Win or lose, we'll be still fighting this time tomorrow. We'll still be fighting no matter what. But let's hope for the best, though.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone. Cheers. Thank you for watching us. Bye.
Bye.